I don't think it's speculation to say that I have firm basis to believe that the government has requested or ordered the mainstream media not to cover this case.
Good afternoon. I'm still reporting on the economy. Good news from Canada. On January 26, 2015, in Toronto, Canada, a landmark ruling was made by a three-judge federal court panel in the Krehm versus Bank of Canada case. The ruling is expected to have significant repercussions on central banks around the world. Unfortunately, the Government of Canada has ordered the mainstream media in Canada not to cover this court case because it strikes at the heart of the debt money system, according to prominent constitutional lawyer Rocco Galati, who tried the case for plaintiffs William Krehm and Emmet and Krehm, the Committee on Monetary and Economic Reform. According to Krehm, the Government of Canada had appealed an earlier ruling that the Bank of Canada should return to its original mandate, which is to issue Canada's money debt-free. The Government of Canada now has 60 days to take this new decision to the Supreme Court. However, the attorney says he doubts this will happen. The Bank of Canada, unlike the U.S. Federal Reserve, is owned by the people of Canada. It was nationalized in 1938 to bring Canada out of the Great Depression. It poured debt-free money into great Canadian infrastructure projects, such as airports, subway systems, the St. Lawrence Seaway, the Canadian Universal Health Care System, and the Canadian Pension System. The Bank of Canada would make interest-free loans to municipal, provincial, and the federal government, just like the Bank of North Dakota does for its state and state agencies. All this debt-free money creation, according to the gold money lovers, should cause massive inflation, right? Wrong. Canada had very little inflation prior to 1974. However, in 1974, the Canadian government decided to end the issuance of debt-free money. The government then decided that they should borrow money by the issuance of bonds, bonds which are primarily bought up by private banks. From the time of Canada's Confederation in 1867 until 1974, Canada had accumulated only $18 billion in debt. At that time, a good house could be purchased for under $20,000. By 1977, just 3 years later, the Canadian national debt had risen 3,000% to $588 billion. Today, although Canada is one of the most frugal nations on earth, its debt stands at $734 billion, nearly 33% of its GDP. Yet the cost of an average house has risen 2,000 to 3,000%. Every year, Canada spends nearly $18 billion paying just interest on its national debt, an expenditure that is entirely unnecessary. The defense budget in Canada is only $22.6 billion a year. On December 12, 2011, Canadians William Krehm, Ann Emmet, and Krehm filed suit in federal court to restore the use of the Bank of Canada to its original purpose, providing interest-free loans for purposes in the national interest. To the surprise of many, including yours truly, the Canadians won their suit against the government. The government then appealed, and this ruling last week kills the government's appeal and leaves their only option to appeal to the Supreme Court of Canada. How this will shake out is unknown. There are no roadmaps from here on. Canada could renounce its debt altogether. However, a more common-sense approach would be simply to stop issuing further bonds and pump new debt-free money into the economy for public purposes. According to Krehm, the crime of this is that the Canadian government has apparently asked the national media not to cover the case.
We're here with Rocco Galati in the federal courthouse in Toronto.
Well, I don't think it's speculation to say that I have firm basis to believe that the government has requested or ordered the mainstream media not to cover this case. I've had indications of that, but I can't reveal those sources.
Are you saying then that you believe the government controls the media in this country?
To a certain extent, on certain limited issues, yeah, they do control the media.
In any case, it's all good news from up north, and we will follow it closely from here on. I'm still reporting on the economy. Good day.
I don't think it's speculation to say that I have firm basis to believe that the government has requested or ordered the mainstream media not to cover this case.
Are you saying then that you believe the government controls the media in this country?
To a certain extent, on certain limited issues, yeah, they do control the media.